Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are live. It is Wednesday. It
Yes.
is 2 p.m. And we thank you for finding us at this most unusual time
Yeah.
and
Not a
date. But
Monday, not noon.
we've got a great reason for it because Carly had an amazing experience that we're going to be talking all about today. But before we jump into that, we've got to say hi to our friends, the Bighams, in the chat first
Yes.
up. It looks like Michael and his mom Cindy made it to Universal for Mardi Gras on Saturday and ran into you.
Yes, it's so nice to finally meet Cindy. I was so
Mhm.
happy. I was just, strolling along, taking in the sights, and then I saw Michael and his mom. So I love it.
Fantastic. Did you see a concert? Did you see the parade?
I did. Yes, I did it all and had a lot of food. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've also got in Derico's corner Blossom and Michelangelo. Welcome as always.
Yay.
And we've got about 50 people here,
Wow.
and we've got stuff to do and things to talk about. So, what do you say without any further ado? I first mute my phone and
Yes,
then
same.
kick this thing off in three, two.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. Carly, I would normally ask how have you been, but I think you've been pretty great because you had an amazing experience this week that's going to be our main attraction. Can't wait to hear about it. But other than that, how have you been?
Yes, I have been so great. I'm excited to share a little bit more about what I did. I also, over the weekend, celebrated my mother's birthday between Universal and Disney World.
Uh,
And we did Mardi Gras at Universal Orlando, AKA my favorite theme park event. And it was incredible. So good this year.
how many beads did you catch?
A lot. But I will tell you, so we did the parade Saturday and then again on Monday. Saturday are very busy, as you know,
Oh, yeah.
at Mardi Gras, Universal. So not they were a little, strict with the beats, but on Monday it was absolutely dead. And I love
Yes.
the parades at an earlier time because it's still a little light out and just, it's like kind of a different look.
Yeah.
They were so wild with the beats because it wasn't really that busy. My
Yeah.
neck, it was holding me down. It was quite painful, but it was so fun. I mean, it is such a rush to not only throw the beads, but accept them
Yes.
on the streets. I love it so much.
Oh, that's great. I also I was there for opening night and then I stopped by again. I didn't stick around for the parade, but I did try some of the Mardi Gras food that I didn't get to try during the media event. And I got to give a big thumbs up over in the San Francisco area. They have a duck dumpling that's
Yes.
like a it's almost like a scallion pancake
Yep.
with ducks. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
they that
I was
booth had Dan Dan noodles last year, and I
mm,
remember it being legitimately the most spicy thing I've ever had in a theme park, which I appreciate because
and
I love spice.
And I think they also had those spicy cucumbers, which
Yes.
I think a form of that might be reappearing later on in our conversation.
Oh, we will be talking about it because it was the predecessor.
So, but without any further ado, because we have so much to talk about, let us go ahead and jump into the news in the queue. Our first stop is out in Anaheim, where it is a sad day for fans of Disney California Adventure's Red Car Trolley because it is permanently retired. The last day to ride it was February 8th, and I heard they had hour and a half, 2 hour lines of people wanting to get in their last rides. I'm not sure where all those people were the last few years.
Yeah.
But as of February 9th, it has been permanently retired, probably to become a photo op on Buena Vista Street. But you will no longer be able to ride up from the park entrance over towards the theater near Guardians of the Galaxy. And I, for one, will miss it.
Yeah, same. I saw a wonderful video of the final procession when it was heading
hmm
to backstage for the last time. There was a lot of people following it. Mickey and Minnie were on there waving to people.
Mm,
I love this. I mean, the story of it's so cool, how it's a throwback to old train cars. But I love when they had the Newsies style show, which they got rid of.
I was
So,
going to say it was never quite the same.
agreed.
Having it both be an attraction and a stage, it was such a surprise and delight moment for guests, because that wasn't a show that you would necessarily plan your vacation around, but
Right.
people would just stop and watch. And with the Newsies music and Mickey, it was so charming.
Yeah, the Newsies is one of my favorite musicals. So when they stopped that, I think it was like 2019.
hmm
I still love seeing it go down. It's so charming, and obviously it fits in perfect with the area, but it's all for good reason.
Well, the reason is that Avengers Campus is expanding, and the plot of land they're expanding into happens to be the barn where the trolley goes to sleep. If you remember back in the day, back when this was the Hollywood Tower of Terror instead of the Gardens of the Galaxy ride, and um, Hollywoodland kind of extended all the way to there, the trolley would actually stop further, closer to where the entrance to the new attractions are going to be. And yeah, sadly, they're going to move to make way for a King Thanos themed ride called Avengers Infinity Defense, which looks from the concept art a lot like Disney's version of Spider-Man,
Yep.
Universal Spider-Man, I mean. Looks probably using the same technology as the Peter Pan attraction that they have out in Tokyo Disney Sea. That's my guess. And then the Stark Flight Lab, which is using a Kuka Robo arm, not unlike inside Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but just basically to toss you around and make you ill.
So I will say that that's good enough reason. We're going to get something in return for
Yeah.
our devastating loss.
Yes. Yes. So an E-ticket and maybe a C-ticket coming to replace the loss of the trolley car. A lot of other projects, of course, coming up to the Disney parks. And if you want to dive more into the history of the red car trolley, we've got some information on our website, attractionsmagazine.com. There's a great article with some old photos that are worth checking out.
Definitely.
Also out at Disneyland, Parkside Market opened not too long ago. It is the new food hall that replaced the old AMC theaters. It's right near Din Tai Fung, and it's got a few new to Disneyland types of foods. And you can either order them as quick service downstairs, or you can eat up at the Vista Bar on the upper level and get stuff delivered to you. I've had a few friends out there and try things, and we've got an article on our website by Jeff DePauli. He headed out, and he got to taste pretty much everything there. And he's got an article on our website with some of his top favorites. What are you looking forward to when you make it out? Have you been there already?
I haven't been there, no. I can't wait, though. This is so needed at Downtown Disney, as you know. It's sometimes really, really hard to eat over there. Sometimes I leave property and walk, to one of the bazillion restaurants that are nearby. But I am most excited for Gigi's Chicken Chop.
I was going to say,
yes.
I love me a good chicken sandwich, especially one that is not problematic. And I am very looking forward to trying Gigi's. I believe they're from Chicago, and this is their first location in California.
Yes, I love this because all the businesses in here are not like mega massive chains. They're like family owned small businesses. So it's great that they're shining a light on it. I also just love the concept. Like, you could sit up at the bar, have a drink. The cocktails look fantastic, and order something, or you could grab something and then sit out on that beautiful little greenery that they have.
Yep. So Gigi's, the consensus seems to be that the original fried chicken sandwich is a
Oh
great
yeah.
place to start. I believe they've also got like a spicy version of it, and I've also heard great things about the crispy waffle fries.
Oh
And if you like broccoli, the broccoli slaw has a poppy seed dressing that's supposed to be excellent. I'm cheating, taking a lot of my tips beyond what Jeff said from our friend Eric O, who also went out to the media opening as well. He also recommended, both of them recommended the Monarch, which is
yes.
this butterfly pea flour coconut vanilla slushy. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
And the key thing here is it will turn your tongue blue.
Yes, that butterfly pea protein stuff is wild. It also changes with citrus based on like the pH
Ooh.
levels. I love when they're in martinis. This looks really good and not
Yeah.
too sweet.
Yeah, so that Monarch is one of the signature items at Sip and Sonder, which is a coffee and smoothie shop with a Caribbean flair. And they also serve breakfast starting from 7 a.m. They've got breakfast sandwiches. So that I always used to stop in at the the Creole restaurant. It used to be called Ralph Brennan's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yes, the Jazz Kitchen, their beignet shop always used to be my go-to place for breakfast while walking through downtown Disney. But I'm gonna have to give these guys a try instead. And then
Yeah.
finally, the
So
one the one that makes me most excited, I love Korean food, and there's not a lot of places to get good Korean food within walking distance of Disneyland. So Soul Sister, they've got beef and vegetable dumplings, which everyone has said were very good. But the beef and egg signature bowl, bulgogi, hard boiled egg, rice, that's my jam. I'm looking
that
forward to
looks
that one.
amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
and he said it was really nicely seasoned, which
Hmm.
doesn't always happen with beef. Sometimes it's too salty. It
Yep.
just sounds so good with the sesame oil and the little rice.
Yeah, that was definitely one I'm going to check out. And the desserts, everyone seemed to really dig. See what I did there? Dig the
Oh,
chocolate dirt pudding
yes.
from Gigi's chicken shop. It's just a cute little cup of chocolate that looks like dirt with sprinkles and some gummy worms. And I love that the spoon it comes with is a little plastic shovel.
It's so cute. It kind of brings me back to the 90s when this
Yeah.
was like a really popular dessert on kids' menus everywhere.
Yep. Jeff also gave a thumbs up to the cake pops. And if you are interested in a drink, head on upstairs. I have to get one of these frosés in a swan,
Yes.
just for the picture. I'm sorry, in a flamingo. It's definitely a
Yeah.
flamingo because it's got the flamingo on the back.
It's so
Um,
cute. And they also have the little branded topper of the espresso martini. I
yes.
love when they have those printing machines at bars. It looks so fun.
So I'm looking forward to going there and tasting all of Jeff's suggestions. You can check them out on our website, and you can also check out his video of the opening ceremony on our YouTube
Oh,
channel.
awesome.
Before we leave Disneyland, Disney's made an exciting announcement that Luke Skywalker himself is coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland for the first time as part of the Season of the Force celebration coming soon to the Anaheim Resort. And people are kind of losing their minds over what
Yes.
this means for the canon, the integrity, the timeline of Galaxy's Edge. And I just kind of say relax.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. So yeah.
We're not curing diseases here. We are talking about theme parks, so have fun,
So we should say this is happening from March 28th through May 11th of this year. So if you're visiting outside that time, you don't have any chance of seeing Luke. It doesn't look like he's going to be a permanent addition. And we don't know exactly. We've gotten teases and Instagram reels. We're not sure exactly what form he's going to appear in, though the photos they've shown so far kind of implies we're like post Return of the Jedi, but before Force Awakens, like maybe Mandalorian era Luke. But the old version of Luke appeared. I'm sorry, the young version of Luke appeared at Hollywood Studios way back in the day, but has not been seen inside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge until now.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very popular, just like a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
the other characters they've rolled out.
Yeah.
Galaxy's
So
Edge.
they have previously rolled out characters such as the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Fennec Shand, Boba Fett, that all exist in that kind of 5 years post Return of the Jedi era of all the current Disney TV show, or most of the current Disney TV shows. So I'm assuming that they are going to do the same thing with him, and that keep him sort of in the center of the land, outside of the bazaar area, but before you get over to Rise of the Resistance. The photos they've shown of him have him with R2-D2 right in front of the Millennium Falcon. And that would be interesting because they've kind of, until now, they haven't had, that's been like Kylo Ren and the First Order's area to march around. They haven't kept any non-timeline characters in that area. So if they do put him there, that would definitely be breaking the timeline. But they've already established that kind of no man's land in between the shopping district and the Rise of the Resistance is kind of like anyone can show up there.
Right. So once you exit the Black Spire outpost,
exactly,
it's kind of like you can do whatever we want, take some artistic, creative liberties.
Yeah, until we get over to where the next attraction starts. So yeah, I don't think this is like the end of the timeline. They're abandoning all of their canon. Yeah, not quite yet. If they do have young Luke running into Kylo Ren and I don't know, playing patty cake together, yes, that would shatter the timeline. But this version of Luke could easily run into the Mandalorian and Grogu or some of those other characters. And I guess maybe they're just setting us up for the fact that come next year in 2026, they are going to incorporate the Mandalorian and Grogu into the Smuggler's Run attraction. Yeah. So that definitely does change the timeline, unless the Mandalorian is exceptionally fit and he's in his 70s still flying around, and Grogu hasn't aged a day. I guess that's possible too.
Anything is possible
under that helmet. Pedro Pascal will probably look exactly the same when he's in his 80s.
Absolutely.
I'm sure. Hint: it's not Pedro Pascal under the helmet. He just
it's not. Oh, that's a bummer.
Don't tell anyone. Okay. Anyway, if all of this Disneyland information gets you excited, please give a call to our friends at MEI-Travel, and they will help you set up your trip.
Definitely.
And finally, before we wrap up the news in the queue, we've got a little bit of Epic Universe news. We've got pictures of 9 new Harry Potter interactive wands that are going to be coming to the new Wizarding World expansion over at Epic Universe, opening up May 22nd. And as opposed to Ollivander's, where the wand chooses the wizard, the proprietor of the Cosme Acajor Baguettes Magiques in Place Cachet. I barely made it through that. I'm sure any Parisian will tell you I did not. But she believes in haute couture when it comes to wands. And so you get to choose your wand based on its own unique style. And there are 9 of them. And I would say they are considerably more colorful and more fanciful than a lot of the Ollivander standard wands that we've seen before.
I'm not a wand person. I think the last time I bought one was like in the early days of Wizarding World, and I don't know where it is, but these are beautiful. Like, I want to get maybe 1 or 2 and make like some display to put them up, because they're really, really quite stunning visually.
Yeah, these would definitely look great on a display rack. I'm sure they will be selling that for people who buy the full collection of all nine. And in addition to those, we also know there's some character replica wands that are going to be coming out. We got a preview of one of them, the Dolores Umbridge wand, replica of the one used by Imelda Staunton in the films. That was very, very briefly for sale at Stella Nova. I think it was probably off the shelves by the time you got there, right?
Yes, so
I should have
basically,
picked it up when I had the chance during that media
yeah,
day.
there was quite a few items that like whoop, poof,
Yep,
and
yep,
they're gone. I mean, they still have a lot of epic stuff, but yes, that's one
yep.
of them.
What I thought was interesting, this new wand on the shelf, it had a nice lace doily that other ones don't, with a pink box. And I believe it had an Epic Universe map inside. But what I did not notice was any sign that it uses different technology from the old generation. There have been a lot of rumors and reasons to believe that they were upgrading wand cameras to use a new technology so that you'd be able to tie it to an app to have something that's more persistent and interactive, just rather than just triggering an effect.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's hidden in there. It didn't look any. I didn't see like a battery compartment or anything like that that would make it seem like it was using radically different technology. So it does seem like these new wands are pretty much fully compatible with the old wands. So it makes me interested to see what is really happening inside the Wizarding World with the new interactive wands.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I think of it like the power up band,
yeah,
how it
hmm
triggers, but then also connects to your mobile app. So I would love to
yeah.
see something like that. Cause again, I'm not, I like watching people do the triggering thing, but I don't need
Yeah.
to do it. I think it would be more fun if I
It,
could have something.
and it would be nice if I could use my vast collection of existing wands in the new park without having to invest in yet another one. But if I have to make that sacrifice for journalism's sake, I will.
Same. I already picked out which one I want. So
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of that story, but it does not bring us to the end of our Epic Universe news.
woo.
Before we dive into that, though, it is time for us to hear a brief word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
All right, and for this week's main attraction, Universal Orlando has released a huge amount of new information about the food and beverages coming to Epic Universe and the new Helios Grand Hotel. And us poor mere mortals can just read about it, but Carly was one of a very select group of journalists invited to come and actually taste the food. And I am so excited to hear your very hot takes on all of this, because I got to say, they've got some amazing food stylists at Universal. All of these photos made me really, really hungry. All of the descriptions make me really hungry. But when it comes down to it, only a very few people have tasted what it's actually like. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So, first of all, can you tell us anything at all about what the experience, like where you were tasting this?
Yep. Absolutely. I definitely want to start with that. So we were on the Epic Universe campus at
Okay.
Universal Orlando Resort's new kitchen production facility. So it's a warehouse where this part, like this totally separate from Epic Universe, but we got to tour the facility. Think of it like the flavor lab that Disney World has, like a
Okay.
secret. So this is basically, they opened it about a year ago. It's a state-of-the-art facility next to Epic Universe. It's on the campus.
Mhm.
It is where everything that you eat at Universal comes from. So from
Okay.
the buns, the bread, it is all made here. All the bakery goods are made here. The vegetables are julienned and then delivered to the restaurants. We walked through the
Interesting.
whole thing, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever. I saw this big, I mean, they have the state of the art equipment, this big vat of 500 gallons of marinara that they were
Oh my God.
making to ship to Louis and whatnot. It was the coolest experience alone. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely wanting to do a story about just that piece because
Ah.
what they have going on is crazy. They explained how, each of the restaurants have to put their order in by noon each day. Then the kitchen goes to work. Then they have these loading docks where the truck backs into it. And then boop, there goes a cart for Louis. There goes
Yeah.
a cart for Finnegan's. It is an incredible process.
The logistics sound amazing. I've done backstage tours of the kitchens on cruise ships before, and that sounds a lot like what it is, except on an even bigger scale.
Yeah, it was, I think they said it was 7 yards smaller, shorter in length than a football field. So
Wow.
it was
Wow.
huge. I mean, it looks from the outside like a soundstage, a
Well,
massive soundstage.
it sounds like they need that much room because they have revealed 51 different food and drink menu items. I assume you didn't get to taste all 51 because we
We
probably wouldn't.
had 20, so
Okay,
a
that's
lot.
still a lot of food. So let us just go around the park. We'll kind of follow along with this article that Blake Taylor put together for attractionsmagazine.com. So if you want to read along, um, and we're going to start in Super Nintendo World, Toadstool Cafe. What did you get to try from there?
So we got to try the Mario burger and then also Yoshi's smoothie, which is the apple and melon honeydew smoothie that comes over from Japan. We learned a lot of tidbits along the way, which was my favorite thing, equal with actually trying the food. A lot of stuff, that information that they haven't released yet. And they said because we asked, or me or someone, are there going to be exclusive Super Nintendo World items to Orlando? And what they said is the Mushroom Kingdom is one place. So whether I go to it in Orlando or Hollywood or Japan, it's the same. So they're trying
Okay.
not to do like exclusive items because when you're in the Mushroom Kingdom, you're in the Mushroom Kingdom. So all the items that they've released and that they will continue to release are either from Hollywood or from Japan, modified to the American taste buds.
That's a key caveat right there. I did not get a chance to eat in Japan because if you thought it was hard to get into the one in Hollywood, nothing compared to the one in Japan. But eating at Hollywood, I've really enjoyed the Luigi burger. I've had the big spicy mushroom that they have, or not mushroom, meatball, the Bowser's Challenge. And I love that they're bringing over the piranha plant caprese because the plating on that is just adorable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've had just about everything from Toadstool over the years since it's open. I love eating there. It's so good. I'm not a huge burger person. The Mario burger that I had on Monday was amazing. I couldn't believe how good it was. I don't know. The patty was so good and seasoned. It was so good. I mean, again, it's familiar taste if you've had it in Hollywood. The Yoshi smoothie is not for me, as you'll read in the story that I just wrote this morning for Attractions, sharing my favorites and some whatever. I could definitely see who it's for. Some people have a massive sweet tooth. I am not that person. It is very, very sweet. Kids, I think, will love it. But if you just like maybe like dark chocolate, this is like pow in your face.
Yeah. Okay. Was there anything else from the Super Nintendo area that you tried?
Those were just the only two ones that we were able to try.
Well, then moving on, I know we've talked before. I'm so looking forward to the Wizarding World Ministry of Magic, especially the Café L'Air de la Sirène. Just the idea of sitting outside a French cafe, having crepes and coffee is really appealing. So what did you get to try from this menu?
So we got to try the salad, which was delicious. I mean, it was very straightforward, typical French preparation.
Was this the Niçoise salad?
Yes. It's a safe bet if you want something lighter because it's hot out.
If you like tuna and hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is what it is. I probably won't order it because, this is something I can have at home. That makes sense. The fingerling potatoes were very good that come with it. But the star was, and what I think is going to be very, very popular,
Mm.
the Bier crepe, the butterbeer crepe.
Oh, the butterbeer crepe. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was amazing. I am not a huge butterbeer drinker, but
Mhm.
I do like butterbeer in other forms, like the fudge or the ice cream. I think the butterbeer crepe is going to be the best form of butterbeer we've had yet.
Wow, that is a bold statement. The
Yes,
best
it is
butterbeer. Yeah.
so good. The butterbeer cream that's inside the crepe, it was
Uh-huh.
freshly prepared. I like the little shortbread cookie on top that has the logo on it. It was so good. This is gonna be a hot item for sure.
It sounds fantastic.
And, like, everything I have to say, just another interesting tidbit, everything there, and you probably guessed from the menu so far, is elevated theme park food. There's really not much that's just like, of course, they're gonna have stands with hot dogs and whatnot,
Yeah.
but there's really not much that we're seeing that's super basic.
We really, I mean, just because you're used to everyone's got to have the personal pan pizza
Mhm.
and the hot dog, the hamburger, and I'm not seeing that, at least not here. So the other side of the Wizarding World is Le Goblet Noir.
Yes.
And did you get to try anything from them?
So we didn't have anything from there, but I loved how they explained, what they're going for with the food there. So from the cafe, it's reminiscent of a 1920s Parisian cafe. So we're thinking the like
Hmm.
traditional French foods, but once you go over to the Goblet Noir, you go to Eastern Europe. So there's going to be heavier dishes like goulash and schnitzel. So I
Oh,
kind of love that, like, maybe you don't love Parisian French food, maybe you don't want like the light cafe bites. There's
yeah.
going to be something totally different
Okay.
in that other restaurant.
Well, I'm a charcuterie person, so I'm looking forward to that alchemist platter with the smoked sausage and
Yes. Yes.
pierogies and
And that pretzel, there's like several pretzels now that are going to be in
yes.
Epic Universe. We know about the pretzel rod in the tavern, Burning Blade. There's going to be a garlic cheese pretzel. And then they teased in Dark Universe a Frankenstein pretzel. So I don't know if that's going to be like a
Ooh,
Shrek situation where it's his head.
that sounds plausible.
Yeah.
And of course, in addition to the butterbeer crepes, we're still going to be able to get butterbeer, hot, frozen, and cold. Um,
Oh, yes.
in that
All the
cart.
butterbeer. I love how, they're still able, they're bringing the wands over, but it's a different story. I
Mhm.
love how they're able to, have that little French twist on butterbeer.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Um, and next, the land where I think I'm probably going to spending the most of my time, Dark Universe. And I gotta say, there's some information here that I was not aware of, and I have never been so happy to be wrong. Because I had previously heard that Das Steakhouse was not actually going to serve steak. They were going to have meat on a stick, but not an actual steak. So I'm very happy to hear that there is an actual steak on the steakhouse menu.
Yes, I tried it. It had this bloody jus. It was
Yeah.
good. It was like a sliced steak. I will say it's pretty straightforward, so it wasn't really as memorable
Hmm.
to me as a lot of the other dishes, which there's nothing wrong. Again, like we're talking, this is an elevated steak dish. The mashed potatoes were really amazing. They were really homemade. It was good, but when you're in a place of so much that's like wildly creative, it's more of a safe bet, which again, there's really nothing wrong with that, but it might
Fair
not
enough.
be something that I'll find myself ordering over and over and over again.
Well, was there something in Dark Universe that you will find yourself ordering over and
Yes,
again?
I will. It is called the Reaper's Reserve, and it is the exclusive Dark Universe brown ale that will be served
Ooh.
at every location in Dark Universe that has a beer tap.
Oh, I don't
It-
I don't even have that on any of my lists. So that is an exclusive. You heard that
Yes.
right
So
here
there
first.
were a few items that they shared with us that are not in any of the press releases, and this was one of them. I believe it is brewed by Crooked Can, which is in New
Oh, not the
Jersey.
usual Florida beer. Okay,
No,
because
yeah,
they've been doing all of their Harry Potter beers. So Crooked
absolutely,
Can
yeah,
is a local.
yep.
Okay, they're great.
So Epic Universe is supporting some local breweries as well as meaderies, which we'll talk about when we get to
Ooh.
the Isle of Burke. So they're using all Florida-based breweries, meaderies. This Reaper's Reserve. So I'm like a huge Wizarding World of Harry Potter beer fan.
Okay.
I love them. It depends on my mood. Which one I get. I love the Wizard's Brew.
That's my jam.
Yeah, Reaper's Reserve might be my favorite. It's going to be available at Das Steakhouse.
Okay.
It is, like I said, a brown ale with caramel spice, clove, nutmeg, cinnamon. It tastes like winter in a glass.
Oh,
light, refreshing. I loved it so much. Like that's going to be one of my go-tos.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Yes. And then we also got to try La Batacata. This is a hard one to say.
La Batacata.
La Batacata. It is basically a Greek yogurt vanilla panna cotta brain. So it looks like a brain, and it has this really beautiful raspberry sauce. But in the raspberry sauce are what they call bursting candies. And do you want to know what the bursting candies are meant to mimic?
Yes. Please tell me.
It is meant to mimic blood vessels bursting in your mouth.
That sounds perfect for the kiddies.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like all of the like gelatin beating hearts and things like that they've done over the years for Halloween Horror Nights have just been building up to the ability to sell someone exploding blood vessels.
Yes. I was like, wow. And then also, so I'm not a huge fan of panna cotta in general. Sometimes I find it too gelatinous. This was actually perfect. It was fluffy and light and almost like cheesecakey. It was really, really good. So that might be another thing that I will find myself ordering. And then I am not sure if this was included, but I did ask a few questions about Dark Universe because I had, a lot of questions in my mind re-food. And one of them was the cinnamon bread that we heard was coming. I asked about the cinnamon bread. It's such an iconic theme park eat. We have it at Dollywood and Silver Dollar City. So I asked what that is going to look like. And they actually said they want to do their own twist on it. So it is not going to be the loaf like we know. It is going to be individual cinnamon bread donut holes.
Okay. So like Munchkin cinnamon bread.
Yes.
Okay. And where is that going to be found?
That is going to be from a cottage cart. I can't remember the exact name. It's been published before, I think, when they announced it. It's just a little cart that's going to be in the land. So I found that interesting. Two reasons. They want to do something a little different. Obviously, you can't copy straight up loaves. It's been there, done that. Dollywood's so famous for it. And they said also, this is going to be a darker land. It's going to be a little scary. So really, with this dish, they wanted to cater to the kids. Give them something to have that they could just grab and go. Also, I don't really get the cinnamon bread a lot at Dollywood because it's not really on the go item.
Well, I was going to say, it seems more practical to have something that you can have in a bag that you can share with people. You don't have to stop and tear it apart or,
Yes. And I think with having them as little holes, maybe the glaze will be easier to get kind of evenly dispersed through them all, which I thought was interesting. And then also I asked about any HHN foods that they plan to do there. And they said for the first year, they're just going to keep to what they're doing, but there's always going to be room in the future to maybe do some exclusive HHN items there, kind of the sky's the limit. And then I also have to say with Dark Universe in Das Steakhouse, they have a tiny wooden steak that is going to be on top of some of the foods. And the steak has the little tiny wooden steak has a Latin phrase on it. And it says, upon our will, meaning a nice reminder to human guests that at any moment they could eat us and end our lives.
Is that a souvenir steak or do you have to?
It is a souvenir steak.
Oh, okay.
I actually got one.
Awesome.
We were at the tasting, so I was so excited.
That sounds even better than a playing card from Space 220.
Agreed. Yeah, there's some really cool branded souvenir stuff with the food items there. So I was able to get a few of them. So we'll
I
talk
really
about
hope the bars have some good swizzle sticks.
that.
I know
Me
we're getting a tiki
too.
bar that's going to serve the Waturi punch that they had at Volcano Bay. I hope they have some good tiki mugs and tiki swizzle sticks.
I agree. I want to take all my money. Although we did see their the owl drink that was also released yesterday. I actually saw the souvenir owl cup.
Who?
The who? I saw the souvenir owl cup. They locked our phones, so we couldn't take photos. So a
Wow,
lot
they're
of it,
serious.
I was like frantically taking notes, trying
I
to
was
like.
gonna say, oh, you couldn't record, you couldn't do it. Ah, that
No,
yeah,
I
back
took
to
like
pen and paper. Oof.
yeah, I took like 30 pages of notes,
Wow.
but it was worth it.
Did you get to try the garlic steak that's coming to the Burning Blade Tavern?
I did not, but
Ah.
I did appreciate this little tidbit. So in Das Steakhouse, none of the menu items will overtly use garlic in it because obviously it's vampires. I
Yes,
was dying when they told us that. But at the Burning Blade,
yes,
everything's gonna be
everything
all
has
garlic.
garlic. Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, there was just so many little tiny details. Like I said, like learning those was just as exciting as trying food
Mm.
because truly this is so highly detailed, so highly themed, every single thing. It's mind-blowing.
Well, the fourth themed land is one that I know a lot of people are going to be excited to eat at, which is How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. I know fans of the movies have always wanted to eat inside the mead hall. You've tasted some of the mead hall offerings.
Yes, I was so surprised. The Thawfest platter, which is the large format family style platter of smoked meats, was one of the best things I've had. I couldn't believe it because I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm not like a huge meat person. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't eat meat. It was incredible. Every little detail they have a lingonberry barbecue sauce. They have a house-made dill fennel sour cream. They have these little marinated pickle chips. It was all so good. And then the proteins that are the star of the plate. There was like kielbasa style sausage. There
Mm.
were these glazed chicken drumsticks. No joke. All of us were like, this might be the best chicken I've ever had. The glaze had this nice caramelized exterior, but the inside was so moist and juicy. It was shocking. Yeah, I would like never would have thought that I would ever want to order this.
Is this the picture? I don't know if they showed you what portion size is going to be. Is this going to be portioned for one person, or is this going to be something you're going to have 4 people to
So
order?
it's for 4 people. We actually
Okay.
had the full one, but also a lot of the proteins are going to be available individual, like the
Okay.
pastrami seasoned salmon, for
Yeah.
example. That's also going to be available individually with
Yeah, that
some
looks
sides.
beautiful.
Yeah,
With
it
the
was
herb crust on the outside. That looks
the
really nice.
entire like no, the entire platter was just like a banger. Like I
Mm.
haven't had kielbasa in so long. So
Mm.
good. The twice baked Yukon Gold potato was amazing. I don't know what they did with this because it didn't, I just wasn't expecting to care about this food.
Mm.
But really they were passionate. The head chef at Universal is from Europe.
Mhm.
They are, they well versed in, all these different cultures, and they really are tapping in to Viking culture. And I just thought it was so cool. They said the theme of like fire and smoked meats was really important to, have running throughout.
That's really great. Anything on the sweeter side? I know they've shown pictures of this dessert that's the catch of the day, which is a chocolate mousse fish. That's
Yeah,
just
so I got to
adorable.
see it. It was so cute. I didn't get to try it. I did have the yak nog,
Yeah,
which
tell
was,
us about yak nog. So this is
oh my
like their
gosh.
answer to butterbeer?
Yeah, so they're calling it a drinkable dessert.
Okay.
It is malted chocolate and cinnamon, and it is perfect for people like me that don't like super sweet things because the malted chocolate with the natural sweetness of cinnamon made for like a
Mhm.
really lovely dessert that wasn't too sweet.
Is it hot or cold?
It was cold. And
Okay.
they said
Alright.
they might explore doing a warm version
Okay.
in the winter, but they're starting out with a cold. It has a beautiful like house-made whipped cream on top. It was so good. And then I want to talk about the mead. So obviously we're in a mead
Yes.
hall, so there has to be mead. So they have worked with
For anyone who does not actually know what mead is, because I don't think most people like order mead at their neighborhood bar.
Yes. Well, mead is I would say it's trendy because now their meaderies are starting to pop up. I went to a lovely one in Orlando 2 weeks ago. It is a honey-based alcoholic drink. Usually it's flavored naturally with different kind of fruits. So Universal is working with the Florida meadery Brulahan, and they have created an exclusive mead for Mead Hall called the Gobbers Mead, and it is flavored with notes of boysenberry and black currant, and it was excellent. Not too sweet. It was perfect.
That's the problem with mead. Sometimes it's kind of like sugary, syrupy, or sometimes it's just too strong. And so if they got a nice balanced mead,
yes. So this is it. I loved it. I have mead sometimes. I'll buy it sometimes, canned from Total Wines. I'll try it if there's little like samplers. I like it. But again, you're right. When it's syrupy, it's not good.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah. And then finally, the last land, which is the kind of the hub of the park, is Celestial Park. And I believe that all the restaurants we've talked about so far are quick service or kind of modified service like we have at the
You
Leaky
are
Cauldron.
correct. Most of these restaurants, with the exception of what we'll talk about, are that new kind of modified quick service where you sit at your table, there's a number, and it's kind of like that hybrid between like table service experience, but quick and easy.
Very focused on mobile. I'm assuming they're really going to be pushing people to mobile ordering.
Absolutely. So Celestial Park is the sleeper hit.
Yes. So this is where you want fine dining, you come to Celestial Park.
Yes.
It looks like Atlantic's going to be that's their crown jewel, right?
Yeah, that is their crown jewel. That is their sit-down restaurant. I just saw, so it's called themed to a Victorian aquarium. There's no live animals. But I just saw a video that Universal Creative posted, and they're showing these gorgeous fish sculptures that are going to be hanging from the ceiling. This is a massive restaurant with, like soaring high ceilings. I learned that upstairs is going to be a bar that you could sit at and order full menu. So like Finnegan's, which I asked about that because a lot of the times I'm at the park by myself and I want like a table service experience. I don't want to go to quick service. I want like to sit down, have a drink, order like food. And that's going to be your opportunity at this new restaurant called.
That is where you will find me then.
Yes, exactly.
I use that same technique with Toothsome. You can never get a table at Toothsome, but you can always sit at the bar and order food there.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful bar too. So Celestial Park food, all of it was by far my favorite. We'll start at the Atlantic. So the first item is an appetizer called the King Oyster Mushroom Ceviche. It's 100% vegan. I was fooled. The way they prepared the mushroom, it perfectly mimicked seafood ceviche. Wow. It was wild. It was so good. This is going to be one of those items that is going to be one of my regulars.
All right.
Light, refreshing. It was a beautiful ceviche. The flavors were all there. So good, but I couldn't believe that it was mushrooms. It was wild.
I was glad to see that each of the land has at least a few items that are specifically vegan.
Yes,
nice
so they addressed that. They said they're really making a conscious effort to have vegan options. There will be at least one in the restaurants, and a lot of them will have items that could be easily modified. Yep,
excellent.
To become vegan.
Excellent.
So I love that they did it. This was fantastic. Please get this. The star of the show also was the sea bass. This was, I love sea bass. It is my favorite fish. When I'm on cruises, if there's sea bass, I will always order it. Seafood restaurants. This was incredible. It was prepared to perfection, no notes, and it's sitting in this beautiful vat of lemongrass broth.
Ooh.
And it was so good. And I was surprised there was starfruit in there, little slices of starfruit.
The starfruit, and I love those. Those aren't actual carrots. That's carrot mochi.
Yes. So that was at the bottom.
Fascinating.
But they suggested like taking a little piece of the starfruit and eating it with the bite of fish, and it was this perfectly. Just the subtle sweetness worked with the savoriness of the lemongrass broth. It was amazing.
You are making me really hungry.
I'm so sorry. Yes, and we had 2 more items from Atlantic. My favorite cocktail of the day was the Northern Lights. So this is basically an elevated lemon drop martini. If you've ever had one, this was like a lemon drop martini, but way better and not overly sweet. And inside is a sphere of ice made from butterfly pea blossom. So again, we're talking about butterfly peas, but
So as it melts, it changes the
yes,
drink.
exactly. So
Oh,
it was gorgeous.
that
There's
is
a little glitter
brilliant.
in there and stuff too. That is going to be like this gold dust. That is
Yeah,
going to be what
that's
I
going to
ordered.
be an Instagram star right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then for dessert, I had the passion fruit caviar.
I saw the video of you eating this, and you looked like you were in heaven.
Yeah, it was great. Again, this is like a perfect. It's not caviar. People are like, is that
Right,
caviar?
right. Not fish eggs. No.
No, it is not fish eggs. This is a wonderful dessert, perfect for people that don't like the super sweet. It's fresh chocolate mousse. Then you have the little passion fruit boba ball things, a little bit of like hazelnut crunch to mimic like a cake. And it was like you scoop in. It's in this little. Have you ever seen like the Portuguese fish tins?
The little tin, like like fancy caviar comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's served in this. So and it's branded. The outside,
Of
has the
course.
logo and stuff on it.
Did you keep the tin?
I did. I washed it out last night, and it is on my coffee table right
Excellent.
now. My most prized possession.
All right, we need to make a list of all the foods we need to order just for the swag that comes with them.
There's quite a lot. That is one of them. I will definitely use it. So 4 items from the Atlantic, all bangers. Then we went to the Blue Dragon Pan Asian restaurant.
Yes.
Oh my God. So I was with my girlfriend who is from her family is Szechuan descent. And this is a lot of Southeast Asian flavors, including Szechuan. She kept going back for seconds. She said we had pot stickers, tasted like her grandmother's. I was like, wow. Yeah, it was great.
Like
and it was, if you've ever had them from Kona, it was done where they're all plated with that like lace. So they're upside down and they're all connected.
Yes, and they kind of crack. I love the crispiness of that.
Yes.
There's that outside of where it's become all lacy like that. Oh yeah. And then
here, another vegan dish that I was obsessed with was the smashed cucumbers, which we've talked about. They had them at Mardi Gras, I believe, last year. It's a very like trendy food item is those chilled cucumber salads. This was amazing. They're in this thing called dragon sauce, which is like black vinegar, soy, and chili oil. Beautiful, nice and spicy with some crunch from peanuts, a little bit of cilantro. That is going to be my other like go-to. It sounds crazy. It's just cucumbers, but it's not. It is.
Oh yeah, no, they're addictive. I remember the version of it that they had back at Mardi Gras. You get that little numbness to your lips. I just love. Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying that one.
Mardi Gras was the practice to see how that went.
Awesome.
And it went well, so they're having that there. Also, I had a cocktail here. This is the Chengdu Dream. I'm not sure if that is on the list.
It is. We don't have a picture of it. What does it look like?
No, so it's blue because there's blue carousel in it. But it was a hybrid between like a traditional tiki cocktail with Southeast Asian influences.
Okay.
So there's this liqueur that's a Chinese liqueur that's a cross between rum and mezcal, and that is the liquor in it. But then it's a typical tiki preparation with falernum, a little bit of white grapefruit juice, a little bit of pineapple juice. It was so balanced. I'm so jaded, when it comes to tiki drinks, that in quote in theme parks because they're usually awful. This was excellent.
And I am hoping that all of these will be handmade, not pre-batched. That is my hope.
I mean, so that's where I'm not sure because it is the Blue Dragon, not the Atlantic. So it's not like a full service sit down restaurant. I pray.
Oh, so the Blue Dragon is not sit down.
I believe that is. I have to double check. I believe that's the modified quick service.
Oh, all right. Because it looks really beautiful for not a sit down restaurant.
Yeah, it looks really pretty. I got to see some of the other dishes that they have there. This passion fruit moon cake, which is like a cheesecake, gorgeous presentation, gold. I got to see they're doing a traditional tonkatsu ramen. also looked amazing.
So Universal's had some attempts at ramen,
Yes.
tonkatsu ramen over the years with
Yeah.
mixed results, and I am looking forward to doing an authentic one. If the broth is not like creamy with pork bone fat,
Yeah.
it should be like opaque. I'm tired of watery tonkatsus, so
Yeah,
I'm looking
same.
forward to trying that.
I'm holding out hope. I think it's going to be great. Everything in Celestial Park. I also saw from the Oak and Star Tavern, their
yeah.
signature cocktail is going to be the plastered owl.
Yes, it sounds like an old fashioned, which is one of my
Its
favorites.
base is dark rye whiskey. It's got a little bit of orange twist, muddled cherries, and it does. I did get to see, couldn't take pictures, the Sylvaner Owl Cup. It's so cute and
Who?
little, and I want it, so I will be buying that for sure.
Fantastic.
And then finally, I got to try from Pizza Moon the Brownie Eclipse, which
Ooh.
I was able to take pictures with because I got to take it to go, and
They let you leave property with it?
Yes, I actually
like
have a
smuggling
right
it off.
now because it's a personal pan pizza size
Wow,
brownie.
that's enormous.
Yeah, and it's cut like a personal pan pizza too, and it comes in this incredible branded little baby pizza box. So I'm
Right.
saving the pizza box, obviously, but that's just another one to add to your list of little takeaways that come with the food items.
Might be a good idea to share that one.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's Nutella. It's a gooey
Ooh.
brownie. There's toasted marshmallows, crushed Oreos. It is decadent. It was so good. I had one bite. Again, we were eating so much, but this is definitely one, and it's little slices. So you could share it with your whole family, and it was great.
And there's also a couple of bars. There's a Celestiki, which I think has a connection to Volcano Bay, and then Bar Zenith, and they've got some meteor-themed drinks over there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was already so excited, but I mean, my kind of main takeaway, everything was at least good, with most items being excellent. Everything is elevated. The attention to detail and theming. I mean, it was like every single dish was so thought out, and it's crazy. We asked them, how long did this take? They spent 5 years developing menus, with 2 of the entire years dedicated to fine-tuning the recipes to make sure that they would work in a high volume restaurant.
Right, because it's one thing for it to look good and taste good. It's another thing to be able to churn it out consistently to thousands and thousands of guests.
Now that I've seen Universal's production kitchen, I think they could do it, because say, for example, like the lemongrass broth, that's probably going to be made in a large batch.
Yeah. Right.
So they're going to be testing for consistency. And if this is the system that they're working, and most of the food, obviously they're freshly preparing the food once it's at the restaurant.
Right.
But for the meats, there's not a butcher at the restaurant. The butcher shop is in this production facility where someone is chopping the meat. There's a salmon butcher room that I got to see. They're cutting the fish. So I think the consistency part, obviously, ops and high volume is very, very complicated. But I think, they seem to be in their groove, if that makes sense, about how they want this to go, making sure it's consistent. I mean, truthfully, it's going to be like a foodie paradise, and I am overwhelmed. And, they kind of mentioned this is very obviously steps above Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. That is something they're going to address down the line. They can't.
I was going to say this is going to make a lot of the food, even stuff like Minion Cafe, which is a step up. This seems like it's leaving that, even the dust.
Yeah, again, like every single thing was elevated. I mean, even like the kids' meals, there was this in Isle of Burke, the kids' meal served in this like paper Viking boat with these little mac and cheese bites and grilled sausage. Every single thing. I mean, there's nothing really like basic. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be, if you want a hot dog, there's nothing wrong with that. But every single thing was just elevated.
Well, we are going to have to leave it there. I'm sure we could talk for another hour. There's also food coming to the Helios Grand Hotel. There's going to be lots more to talk about. We are just about 100 days from the opening of Epic Universe, and I can't wait to talk more about it with you. But we have to wrap this up here. We have to give thanks to our sponsors, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and remind everyone to please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you happen to listen to us. Also, like and subscribe here on YouTube, and be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com. Search for Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media accounts. And Carly, where can they find you on the socials?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly.
And I am at Eskabursky or at The Unofficial Guides. You can find copies of my books at theunofficialguides.com. And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you next time. Bye.